All right, we're going to get the May, right? Yep, May Planning and Zoning meeting called to order. First item will be the approve the April minutes.
So moved.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Any opposed? All right,
right, next item is the staff report. What do you got, Jack?
Sorry about that. We've got several potential items coming to the city. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to explain this. We have two potential businesses coming into the shops, marketplace shops up there. Those are with the underlying zoning is conceptual plan. And they went through, when they did it, the entire process, which incorporated all the building elements. So they don't have to come through, like the other buildings up there, they don't have to come through this body for site plan approval. They'll just have to submit the paperwork, get the architects sign off on the materials that they're using that complies with their conceptual plan. And we will then review a few other items. Stormwater, et cetera, those kinds of things, to make sure everything's fine. And then they will be cut loose to build. There are two commercial retail entities looking at that. And based upon the number of conversations I've had with engineers, sign companies, and all kinds of, it sounds like they're going to be coming for sure. Which is, be a nice little addition. We have several other discussions going on with various projects around the city in various locations. Luckily, none of them are up north on the sewer line that we don't have done yet. And you'll see later, obviously, we've got the preliminary plat issue to resolve so that we can move forward with the wildflower improvements in-house instead of 2 years down the road. So phase one of Clay Creek is 98% ready to get a plat recorded. It was going to be on the agenda next week, but just discovered today, or just learned today that next week's board meeting will be canceled because of a lack of a quorum. So everything will have to go till June 3rd. I think so. First Tuesday in
Let's
June.
just double check the calendar just in case.
Yeah, that's what,
Just in case, Jack.
I believe it's June
June
3rd.
third. June
Yeah.
3rd.
It'll be June 3rd, that meeting for all items on this agenda and anything else adjacent or addressing that. And I would, as we're getting ready to go into it at the end of the meeting, I would like to, in this public or in this staff report part, to thank Will for all the work he's done on the ADU stuff. And we will be bringing the overlay district language and stuff next meeting as well, hopefully. We're 98% done, so knock on wood. Again, Will's working with that one with me as well, so if there's anything else.
Any other tenant finishes over at the old Price Chopper building? Oh,
There's,
they're doing the construction on the nail salon.
yeah, there's and Brandy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a nail salon and a restaurant maybe, or did the restaurant never submit?
there's been talk of a restaurant, but Jim, they haven't submitted anything.
Okay. Jim, one of our inspectors, has been in conversation with the current contractor over there about stuff. Obviously, the nail salon is likely going to go in. They've already got a sign up, so.
Yeah, they had doors open today doing construction, it looked like. They're
Yeah,
doing some
yeah.
sort of work.
So, and then the other one's a restaurant. We've heard conversations and been informed some, but nothing definitive yet. That does remind me, Mr. Mayor, there has been a lot of talk on a redevelopment of the K Furniture building. So that may be coming soon. Sounds like it may be coming soon. I know it's under contract, but they're in their due diligence phase, so it could be a bit. That's all.
All right, sounds like still stuff going on.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next item will be the site plan review for 303 West Meadow Street. We have a motion to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded. You want me to
Yeah,
start?
Jackie, would you like
Yeah.
to?
This matter is back from last month's meeting that was tabled, not tabled, postponed until this meeting, with several questions and issues that came up. Met with the applicant the very next day, and he suggested or asked if it would be available for him to change his submission substantially. And that is what he's done. You can see he brought the materials that he's proposing over here behind us, which is the faux stone. And it'll be the first 4 feet of the entire building. And then on the right, you'll see the stucco look metal. That's one of their sample panels. So they're going to stucco look that we've approved in all the other applications in the past. And that would be the next 10 feet. And then on the gable ends of the building, which would be the north and the south, they would submit to put the board and batten look with that material on the far left, that lighter color. So it would have 3 color breaks, clear medium or clear bottom, middle and top. So with all the other aspects with the landscaping, et cetera, staff has submitted the staff report with a recommendation that it meets the standards in the code. Applicant is here, his contractor is here as well.
Public comment on this?
You guys can come up and comment or
I mean,
answer questions if any come up.
Thank you for letting me here again.
thank you.
Do you guys have questions or?
I don't think we do. Think we can go and vote?
Mayor Boley,
All right, yes.
Terry,
Approved.
Billy.
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
5-0.
This matter will, as you may have heard, will not be on next Tuesday's agenda because there won't be one. It'll be on the next board agenda on June 3rd for final approval.
Thank you.
You. All right, next item will be the revocation of preliminary plat approval for Lakeside Farms. Do I have a motion to revoke?
So moved.
Wow.
Second. Second.
Yeah.
All right, Jack?
Yes, I've been here many years. This is the first time in Smithville that I'm aware that we've ever had to do this. And I've been doing this years prior and it's the first time I've ever, I've never seen it done. It's been in every code, but I've never seen it had to happen. In this one, as you all know, it was all based on a timing scenario between 2 subdivisions that we negotiated a substantial amount of time with. And then literally 6 weeks after the approval, this developer indicated they were going to table it for 2 years. They had to get some, I don't know if it's financing or what exactly, figured out or adjusted, and they're going to focus on other projects. I informed them at that time that we couldn't wait. We negotiated wildflower improvements for them, which involved a lot of negotiating back forth with the impact fees. And if they're not going to be able to do it, the other subdivision was negotiating based upon their doing their work in a timely manner. We have, as you all know as well, an agreement with a different developer to fund the improvements to Wildflower that will be sufficient to bring the 320 number up. So we add that capacity. So if this is approved by you all, we will notify that developer. Here's your responsibility. And that's from 2004, by the way. Their development agreement was 2004 that they would have to upgrade this station at some point. It took 21 years, but here we are. If I have missed anything, in here, please let me know with questions and I'll try to answer them.
Public comment?
Applicant's not here.
Vote.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Billy,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Mayor Boley,
Aye.
5-0.
And does that go to the Alderman
No,
again?
it's solely this board's purview.
Okay.
So now, when they want to come back, we'll have to renegotiate their deal. It'll substantially change the work they're going to do because most of what they were going to do was based upon taking this station out. Now that we're going to upgrade it, they'll have to redesign.
That's good. Very nice. All right, next item will be the public hearing for accessory dwelling unit ordinance. This time we'll open the public hearing.
Bill and Jamie Talley. Make sure to state your name and address and 3 minutes.
Jamie Talley, and Bill Talley, our address is 801 Northeast 140th Terrace, Smithville, Missouri, we're on the south side. We're basically here because we're in favor of the ADU. We're coming from the back side of it, we wouldn't be building an ADU, we're living in the ADU, we would be building the primary household. We are on 40 acres. But unfortunately, we don't have enough road frontage to divide or subdivide so we can build parcels. So we've been in talks with Jack a couple different times and he's given us a couple different options, but then Will had let us know that this was coming into play. So this is very beneficial to us. So we're all for it. I guess we're just excited. So we're hoping that we are looking to the conditional side of it, hoping that is conditional use because our house is like 900 square foot. So we're coming from a different side, but we do have 40 acres that we would like to build. I think our house is like 2,500 square foot on the main level is what we have plans for.
Nice. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and close this public hearing. Next item will be to discuss the accessory dwelling units. Jack, do you got anything else to add here?
Yes, if I could, to clarify, you have an ordinance that Will drafted that covers everything that you talked about in all the previous informational meetings that we did on this. Laid it out in an ordinance format that would work standalone by itself. But this will not be the proposed code that we submit to you for final approval because much of this stuff has to be in other ordinances, other sections. And it would have been a absolute cluster to try and explain what we were doing if we had it in that format. Some of them have to go in individual use categories. Some of them have to go into definitions. So this is for purposes of where we are today is for you all to, does this include all the stuff you wanted? And a couple of things I believe Will, when he talks here in a second, we'll be able to go over the options that are laid out in it, et cetera. And then once we get a clear idea of your intent, where you want us to go, we will present that in a format at the next meeting following, and we'll have another public hearing on whatever the final version is. And it's going to be the discombobulated one. So it'll be confusing, but we are here for that purpose. So, and any concerns about the public notice that had an error in it will be clarified with that. The good thing is the public notice had an error in it that said it was last week instead of this week. If it had been the other way around, it'd have been a big problem. But the fact that we were able to extend it to today rectified any problem. And then we're going to double belts and suspenders with another public hearing with the final version.
Well, Jack, speaking of that, I do appreciate all your hard work. I mean, it's one mistake in over a decade, so good job. And
Yeah.
easily you could see that it was April 8th was the date and you changed to May
Yeah.
and not the time, the day. It's fine.
Yep.
We all get it. Planning and zoning is always on the second Tuesday.
Yeah.
Regardless.
And to further clarify that, after it occurred, I had a conversation with Brandy, and now going forward, anytime I draft a notice, it'll go for her review. And then she'll double check it, and then she will send it to the newspaper directly. Because she currently, when all the bills come in, she communicates with them on that anyway, so she's got a pretty straightforward relationship there already. We'll just be double checking belts and suspenders all the time,
It's-
so. But I wanted to clarify, and then I'll allow Will to either open it for questions or walk you through, or however you want to do it, Will.
Yeah, I was gonna leave it up to you guys. If you've had a chance to read through it, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. If you'd like me to just kind of go, there are a few, and or kind of deals. I have two definitions in here. I got a purpose statement in here because I just wanted to put in everything that you might possibly want. They aren't necessary to have a purpose statement. We were kind of thinking to have that in the application form so that they would know the intent. And I have two review and approval processes that aren't necessary in the ordinance. That we found that in section 400 of, it's like the it is the conditional use section. So I just wanted to have everything out there for you. But yeah, if you have any questions on any of this stuff, this is the recommendations that I got put into ordinance form. There are a few things that we did not mention. I didn't put any specifics on appearance standards because we wanted to keep it open. So if you want to add anything in specific, now's the time. We left it open for, size 10 to 90%. So yeah, if you guys have any opinions or questions on it.
Just a question for you or Jack. Have you guys looked at what the state legislature is doing with the building codes, and is there going to be much impact if they do pass that?
Yeah, the building codes won't be impacted associated with this aspect of it because the building codes will control the construction aspect of it. But right now, the only code that has passed and we definitively are aware of is the 2021 Energy Efficiency Code has been made illegal in Missouri now, and now everything reverts back to 2009. So for us, on our building code, we follow the 2018 version, but we can't even do that anymore. We have to go back to the 2009 version. And we've never adopted the Energy Efficiency Code in 2009 anyway, so that'll be all new to us anyway.
You go back to 2009.
The
what the
Home
state
Builders
decided to
Association in Kansas City, when Kansas City adopted it, the Home Builders Association had to get it changed down at the state. They couldn't get it changed at the local level.
I do have
Mhm.
one concern, I guess, on the appearance standards, or number 2, about the chairman of planning commission reserves the right to waive any and all requirements under this section when deemed to be in the public interest. Is that just the chairman? Or should that be a discussion that the committee has?
Yeah, we can add that wording in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Should definitely be
ultimately,
discussion.
yeah, and ultimately, it might even be better that instead, with the appearance, instead of having, it can be waived, it's that they have to submit for approval,
Well,
whatever their.
and I think the intent of the language is more of putting it on the agenda than just they have the
Yeah.
ultimate
Right.
say.
Right.
Because it says to encourage a schedule and hold a pre-application meeting. So I understand the intent. It's not just ultimate power to approve it. It's
Not a dictator.
you
Yeah.
decide you help formulate the agenda.
And
with
we can
Jack and
clean
Brandy.
those up to make it a
Yeah.
little more smooth as it runs through. Like I said, when Will was doing it, he focused on this ordinance as though it was a standalone. As he's getting his feet wet in the zoning side, he hit the right spot. It needs to go as number 7 where it does, but there's tons of other provisions out there that, unless he was gonna read that 88-page document and understand the whole thing, he wouldn't have been able to write it. So he put everything in here that we need, and we'll clean it up to make it work with the other ordinances.
Sounds like light reading.
I do have a question for you. It talks about being in the, it's allowed in the business district in manufacturing.
B4.
Yeah.
B4, yeah. That's the only B
How-
district that allows residential houses in it already.
That's downtown only.
It's just downtown.
Like the houses over here in the B4, even though.
Yeah.
Like where Don, towards Don Hanks's house, one of those is B4. Or I think both of them are B4 now, right? On the north side of the bridge.
Yeah.
I know we redid.
No, one's
We did the
B3.
Sanders.
One's is B3,
Oh, okay.
the other's B4, I believe.
Okay.
Or may even be R3.
I know we
Zoning
rezoned
over
it.
there was all goofy for a long time, so. But yes, in that provision, I'm looking for it. Billy, yeah, so it's article or subparagraph 6. Looks like
Like
right
the
above
housing
performance
subscription church.
standards.
Right.
A couple of
Schoolhouse.
clarifications for you as it relates to that.
Some down here, the
And
B4.
from a practical standpoint, obviously A1 and AR are the larger lots. The minimum lot size for AR is 2 acres if they're connected to sewer, or 3 acres if they're not. And A1 has 10 acres. However, the older version of A1, and we have a lot of them in town this way, it was a minimum of 3 acres. So either way, the agricultural zone districts have larger lots, 3 acres, 2 to 3 acre minimums. But as you go through with the R1A, R1B, R1C, R1D, those can be, some of those are small. So getting them to fit how they should fit. I think we can keep them open to be allowed there, depending on the size of the lot and how they fit elsewhere. Because I think Will did a good job of explaining setbacks and all that. It's just effectively the R1D, you won't be able to put one on it. It's
Well, you
just
can
not
still
big
do
enough.
an R1D with a bigger lot. You just,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but the
mean,
odds, the
yeah.
purpose of doing the R1D is to get the lot smaller.
yeah,
So
I'm just saying if it's like
Yeah.
a deep, like
if
like
something
cul-de-sac
happens,
type lot, that's small.
they
frontage.
may be able
Yeah,
to get one to
yeah.
fit. And then R1M is a single family one, but it's for manufactured housing.
Which we don't
uh,
have any.
We don't have any of those zones. We've never had an R1M. It used to be R1 something else, but changed it to M. We don't have one. We've never had one. Manufactured housing is basically trailer parks stuff. Got to be 10 acres for those. So from my perspective, if you've got a trailer park, it kind of defeats the purpose of having. But we can keep it in there or we can delete it. The R1M aspect, if we keep it, it could only potentially cause us problems in the future. If we get rid of it, it can't hurt us. Because we're focused on single-family detached housing.
Yeah, you could take out the R1M, that's fine.
Yeah. And then the B4 is downtown here. The number of houses that it could impact may be smaller than you think. And many of the houses in the B4 district are in or very near the floodplain. So they may have issues with that either way. So keeping it in here for the available option, I think is probably good here. But like I said, with the floodplain being an overlay district down here, in a lot of the single family stuff, it could be very difficult for it to ever work for someone downtown. But it doesn't mean they can't figure it out. It just means it won't be easy.
You pulling up to that?
And specifically, none of them include R2 or the R2 and R3 aren't part of this because you already have 2 houses on R2. Is there anything else? Concerns, questions, things you'd like to add, things you'd like to see gone?
I agree with your statement, the one RM should probably be left out.
Mhm. That too.
kind of redundant, doesn't make sense, and it ends up causing a headache.
Yeah.
Just for a little clarity, the end of it, the appearance standards, both 1 and 2, I just wanted to keep that open. So it allows you to add anything or take away anything, any condition.
Yeah, and I think much of that, as he mentioned earlier, that stuff is contained in the ordinance currently in the general conditions versus the additional conditions that come in under this section. This would be under additional requirements for conditional use permits. The general conditions are the ones that would give you that authority to address them.
I think just like we discussed earlier, anywhere it talks about just the chairman of the planning commission, that is definitely the
Yeah.
entire committee.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can probably
And-
just substitute, you just say planning commission.
Yeah.
It's probably the best option.
Yeah.
And I think it was in a few other ones as well.
And most of those provisions are already in the code elsewhere. It's just, that's the language Will chose to use to, here's what we need this option. We have that in other places. So instead of rewriting that other stuff, we'll just use it. Makes it cleaner for everyone. It's hard enough to find it sometimes in the code because none of these codes are, they'd be 400 pages if you wrote every, if you didn't refer back to this one, you had to write it in, it'd be real long. And we had problems with doing that in years, many years ago past, where we would make an adjustment to something here and not make it elsewhere. Or we would adjust something here and it would say you could do X, and over here, we'd adjust it and it'd say you couldn't do the same thing. I believe we've gotten rid of all those, but I don't want to start creating it because in 20 years from now, I don't want somebody else going, who, the idiots that did this?
You'll still be here in 20 years, Jack. It's fine.
I hope I'm not here in 20 years, Mr. Mayor.
Well, you got Will. He can
Yeah.
say he did this.
Yeah.
Years go quickly. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, he can still be here. He'll be, won't be a young man then, but
Still feel you.
I can assure you,
Relatively, yeah.
yeah. No, well, he'd be younger than me.
I mean, Robert's been here 43 years now, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Yes.
you gotta beat that number.
Good much.
All right, gang, we got anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn.
We've got enough. We'll have you
Do
something.
we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned.